Now it's a good cold open.
Were we not in a session?
We are now.
Ah, damn it. All right, let me go call my mom again.
I get the wheelchair.
For fuck's sake.
Lamau. That's going to be a conversation that nobody else will understand.
Nope.
But, nevertheless, welcome to Code's Corner K2. I would say K4 again. Episode something. 7? 8? I am
Something
your host,
like
Quinn
that.
McCloris. I also moonlight as Nathaniel Vostenbrook. I almost said
You
Nathaniel
know.
Vostenbrook, and that would have been wrong.
You know.
Damn, Daniel.
Nathaniel.
Damn, Nathaniel.
Oh, yes. That's the real meme. But yeah, I'm also joined by Mr. McFungster, who plays X and occasionally Battlecock, Nem, who plays Nyx and Yuna the Fairies, and the Imperator, who plays literally no one. Invisible Man.
Damn, you caught me.
He's just
You're
a
right.
spectator.
You're right.
Or kind of a creep
How'd
on
you
as
know?
well.
Yeah, he's a
Don't you
spectator.
know?
He's like the peanut gallery, like a golf game. But yeah, so last time, our intrepid adventurers decided, after slaying a group of
I wouldn't
ghouls at
say
the asylum,
intrepid.
our group of retarded adventurers
Yeah, that's more like
decided to head back to the mining site, after fending off a gang of a dozen ghouls at the asylum. They decided to investigate the mineshaft alongside Father Brown, the Native American priest that's been in charge of the spiritual aspect of the site. And
it has been unveiled that Boston Brook is a daft cunt.
he is, yeah. He's always been that way, though you're just daft.
You mean a really cool guy?
You mean best man? And also the foreman
At my
is here,
wedding.
Mason Anvil, the paladin of the common man.
The OG Chad.
He is, honestly. Yeah.
See, Anvil is a Chad. Boston
Yes.
Brook. Boston Brook is the virgin.
You mean Boston Brooks is Sigma male?
Honestly, Boston Brook is a
He's a
Sigma male.
beta.
No, Boston
No,
Brook is a Sigma
Boston Brook's
male.
a
Boston
beta.
Brook's the Sigma,
Yeah,
and
Boston Brook is-
Mason is the Alpha.
Yeah.
Does that make GVH the Soy Jack?
So-
I'd believe it. I'd believe it.
No,
God.
you've got it backwards.
No.
JVH is the Sigma. Boston Brook
talking
is the
about?
beta.
Wow.
Fucking. And Mason is the Omega.
You could hear the gears in your
The
head moving.
Omega.
What are
Mason
you
is
talking about?
the
I can
best
see
guy.
the Soy Jack meme right now. It's like, no, don't go there. It's not company protocol. Boston Brook, sword goes slash.
Yeah.
Kyle, can you
Basically.
please
Basically.
fix your mic quality?
I'm on
Oh,
my
God.
phone. I'm still doing
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
fix it. I didn't ask.
Get a better phone, sir.
Damn shit, that's crazy.
Just hook up like a Yeti
That's
microphone to your
crazy.
I don't
iPhone.
even know what the microphone's like.
It sounds like
terrible.
shit.
It's not terrible. It's not great. It's not as good as
I'm
my
not gonna.
sexy voice. But, you know.
I'm on my phone too, and I probably sound better than you do.
I don't even know how you sound.
Exactly.
What are you, deaf?
So,
No, like I don't know
Exactly.
how he sounds to himself. So I'm like, well, I don't know how you
Uh.
sound for that.
I mean, you could watch the videos back, guys.
Yeah,
have.
that is
Art-
true.
Artificially boost our view count. I'm gonna pay some bots to. God, I might honestly, if I had
Cursed. Cursed.
money. But yeah, so last time the group got involved with some zombies in a mass grave, and then they faced down a drowned maiden, a type of at least you classify it as a superior undead, which is like a cool undead, a gimmicky undead, a mini boss undead, if you will. And then Bosterbrook used his bridge spell for the first time in the entire campaign to bridge the gap in the broken bridge, and you guys walked across, and you're now in the secondary workshop, the kind of like checkpoint workshop, where the current edge of the mine is. On your map, that would be room 11A, all the way at the bottom of the map. There's nothing in here of note. There's some more tables, some more chairs, some crates, fireplaces, piles of debris and things. The one notable feature is 11B, which is a big old pit. Big old pit, dark pit, with a single rickety wooden 2x4 that crosses the pit against the wall. OSHA would have a field day if they saw this.
Absolutely.
For sure. But, you know, this company, not exactly the best, most ethical company in the world. So yeah, there's that. There's the pit. You're in the kind of secondary main mining area. There are some, like, ore veins and stuff in the walls you can see that they've been, like, actively mining out. So this is, like, the active part of the mine.
Okay.
No longer inhabited or being worked on, obviously, but, you know, it would be active.
Alright, well. So you said we're in 11A, right?
Yep.
All righty. All whitey. Well, I guess. Hey, does Boston Brook still have that bridge thing?
I mean, you can cast it again.
Yeah, because that'd probably be good to get across 11B.
But I don't trust a rickety 2x4. Cringe.
No, not at all.
Alright, then Boston walks up and he's like, sure, make the mage do all the work. And
yes,
then he,
that's what you're here for.
You know, then he make a hiney ho, does some Macarena, and this magic glowing purpose, kind of like a weird, like, I think the word is pearlescent, like that oily kind of multicolored sheen to it, kind of like purplish magic energy, sparkling, very, you know, fantastical. This kind of glowing rune-covered bridge of light and energy, pew, shoots across the gap next to the 2x4. Boston Brook takes the 2x4 because he's a real man. And the rest of you can cross safely over the magic bridge.
Alright.
Actually, since you're crossing the bridge, all of you can make me perception checks.
Huh, joy.
You hear a guttural scream. No, I'm kidding.
7.
7? Alright.
Yeah.
The other two of you.
Oh, it's finally come back to me, boys. Not one.
Well, it had to happen at some point, you know. So extra is
Sure.
nothing. The fairies.
Well, at least you hear nothing, and it's
Yeah,
not. You don't see something.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Yeah.
It could be worse.
It could be. Hearing is, I would argue, yeah, better than seeing something. So in that case, GVH, as you are walking over this kind of magic light bridge, it's very kind of
Light brights.
Yeah, it does put off like a little bit of a glow, so you can kind of see into the hole, like for like 5-10 feet. There are torches and like lamps on the walls in here, and like some electric light bulbs in the main area, but it's still dimly lit. And you hear the sound of what sounds like a cavern and like dripping water, like down in the pit in the big old hole. Like you can hear like water droplets hitting like something, hitting rock or whatever, and then the sound echoes beneath you and then rises up. So whatever is below you is a big cavern down underneath. And you guys cross the bridge, and that would take you into number 12.
12.
Which is an unfinished part of the tunnel. So this is kind of where they're still kind of laying the minecart rail track and kind of extending out the tunnel to go farther into the mountain and like deeper and stuff. There is also another kind of 5-foot wide by 5-foot tunnel entrance across the 10-foot wide minecart track, and you can see an eerie eldritch green glow coming from down the tunnel.
So is it Eldritch Green, and I just know it's Eldritch Green?
Well, it's just green, and it's kind of like eerie, so yes,
Eldritch in nature.
We don't know that it's in nature, it's just creepy and eerie, and you're like, why?
Well then, on to 13.
Alrighty. So you all march into room 13 and find yourselves standing in a kind of small like series of kind of partially dug out tunnels that kind of go for like 5-10 feet and then stop. And the walls and floors and ceilings are lined with very sharp, glowing green crystals. And then once you kind of enter the main room, all the way on to your left is another like big pit that goes down into darkness.
Huh. Well then. So who wants to spit into the pit?
I mean, Bosterbrook would just like walk down the pit if you want him to.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, sure. So he must have been like, all right, I'm not a
Actually,
pansy.
let's have Boston Brook find staircase.
You want him to find staircase? All right.
Yeah.
So he, Macarena's for a second, and he casts finds him. Where is it nearest? That's a good question. Does an elevator count as a staircase? Probably not. So
No. We're looking for actual stairs.
in that case, the nearest staircase would be that kind of staircase on by the river, by number 8. Those are the nearest staircase, I think. I'm gonna look at the other map. Yeah, it's in near. Well, he would detect a closer staircase that is beneath you guys by like 50 feet, 60 feet, and then to the west by like 60, 80 feet. So there is a staircase beneath you guys that is technically closer than the one across the river.
All right. Well, I mean, what else is in 13 thus far? Other than the pit, what is in 13?
Crystals in a pit.
Is it
Can
cool
I
if
examine the crystals?
All right, how are you
If,
going to examine the crystals?
Yoon is constantly invisible?
Yeah, she could be invisible. I think that
Sick.
lasts for like
I'm gonna
ever.
touch one.
Okay, you poke a crystal. Let me have a look at your stats really quick.
Oh no.
So you are a Homo Magi Superior. Okay. And you are immune to diseases, toxins, viruses, drugs, and alcohols, although those are mundane. You aren't immune to disease. Okay. So this
You
would
just said
affect you.
diseases.
Oh, well, the mundane diseases. So you touch this thing, and you take, like, I don't know, like 40 damage, necrotic damage, as your finger, like, withers and dries and, like, falls off to, like, at the bone and, like, falls off your finger. And it begins to continues to spread across your arm before you pull your hand away, and your regeneration heals your hand.
Oh, I was gonna say, do I have to do like a I cut my own hand off kind of thing?
No, if you kept touching it, then you would, because it would keep spreading. But
Okay. Well, I mean, at least I know what it does. So nobody touched the crystals.
what do you mean, bro? Touch crystals.
Or
Why not?
okay. All right, go ahead. Fine, do it.
Put your face right next to the crystals. Just
All right.
mm.
I walk over to Boston Brook and I stand behind him and I start to push him towards the crystal.
All right, you go to push him, and your hands go right through him because he's magic and can cast spells.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm not a fool. I don't regenerate like the rest of you. Necrosis is not fun for my old bones, you know."
The rest of us? What are you talking about? There's only one person here who regenerates.
Well,
Actually, maybe the Bone Fairy does.
Yeah, the
I'm not sure.
fairies do, and GVH does. And I can if I have my sword.
Pull out your sword. Whip it out.
He whips his sword out.
Oh. Now touch it.
He's like, and he kind of like squints at you, and then without looking, he brings his life's limit down on the nearest crystal, like backhanding it, and the sword, whing, and this like deafening like vibration sound echoes through the cavern, and like rocks fall from the ceiling, the ground shakes, but the crystal is not cut.
And then I can turn to him. Like, Una turns to him. It's like, is that a problem?
Most likely, yes.
Buster Bug's like, well, I mean, they're magic, so that's a thing he's going to make. I'm going to have him make a check, because he is an archmage. He's a necromancer, but he's still an archmage, so he might know about this stuff.
He's dumb, he's smart.
He is very smart. He's like a 9 intelligence. So he rolled an 8, so that's definitely a pass. So he's like, well, it's not a problem. It's just that when I expected this to happen, this appears to be solidified necrotic magic energy, made physical into a crystal. Very, very powerful. Do not get close to them.
So, are you
I take a step closer.
You instantly perish. You are blasted to dust.
You necrotize.
Reduced to atoms.
God. What was I gonna say? So, I think what I would ask is probably like, obviously they don't form naturally unless this is a weird place.
Cavern.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
they can form naturally, but usually not this close to the surface. Magical radiation isn't usually high enough to create these kinds of things. I mean, it can happen, but it usually happens in, dwarven strongholds where they bury their dead in the walls, or graveyards, but like those really old graveyards, like burial mounds, right, mass graves, or in this case, super cursed land. That can also happen.
So,
Or if the presence of what could also be a thing, there could be a portal to the realm of undeath somewhere around here. Or it could be that there's a very powerful undead creature that's been here for a very long time.
yeah, I was gonna ask, is there just a powerful creature waiting for us, at the bottom, going, yeah, touch my crystal, or something like that?
I mean, I don't think they'd be able to sense if someone touched the crystals, but it's a byproduct of their existence. If they sit in one area for long enough, their natural radiation coming off of them passively will affect the environment. Same can happen for any kind of creature, even holy beings, angels, demons, spirits.
The
and
most likely possibility is that there's just a powerful undead we gotta crunk at the bottom of this.
Probably, although I don't like very powerful undead. Like not even a lich could do this. Like, stupidly powerful.
And then I point to JVH. I'm like, as powerful as him?
I'm not undead.
Oh, a
You're
trick! The ultimate twist. He's been a vampire the whole time.
Oh my god!
We've been had.
And somehow the fairies knew all along.
No wonder those plates crunked him. They were silver.
They were the finest of China.
Anyways, but no, I mean like.
Well, I mean, liches
Our level.
are like my level of strength in terms of magic use. And liches, I mean, well, they're undead, but they're a very specific kind of undead, and they're also archmages. So they're usually very good at controlling their magic. This seems more like either an undead elemental, which would be no bueno, or something equivalent to an undead elemental, which, I don't know, like, actually, I'm gonna make him make a check, because he might just figure out what it is.
Just from all this talking.
Yeah, just from figuring out that there's an undead here. Wow, I rolled a 10 and a 6, so that is still a penalty to pass. So we guys see Busterbeck. He sheathes his sword first, and then he brings his hand up to his bearded white chin, and he strokes his beard for a minute. Like, all right, it could be, it could be, and you see the gears really turning, and then he kind of like stops scratching his beard, and his eyes go wide, and he stares into space for a solid like 5 seconds, just not moving. And he's like, "No, we really should have read what that druidic shrine said. Like, we really should have read what that druidic shrine said."
Why is that?
Well, if we combine the information that we know about the area, if we combine the information about the druidic connection, about being a very powerful undead, their Native American pantheons only have so many different types of undead.
Alright.
They're very rare, obviously. There aren't many of them, and the Native American folk in this country are few in number, shall we say. No offense. And then the priest's like, "None taken." And Masterman's like, "So this limits our potential options." And Busterbuck turns to Father Brown. He's like, "Father, did you ever happen to read that shrine while you were staying at this mining camp, perchance?" And now I have to make a luck check to see if Father Brown has looked at the shrine. No, he rolled a 1. No, he has not. So Busterbuck's like, "Well, that is very unfortunate. Okay. Well, there aren't many options, but And he turns to the foreman, and he's like, "Foreman, you mentioned that there were a lot of cold snaps in the area recently, right? With the hauntings and what have you." And Mason's like, "That's correct." And Monster's like, all right. Has anyone... It's going to be a strange question, folks, but bear with me. Has anyone tried to eat you? And the foreman's like, "What?" And like, "It's just a purely just humor the old man, all right? Has anyone tried to eat you?" And the foreman's like, "What? No one's tried to eat me. If they could, they couldn't." And Mastermo's like, "Well, okay,
Boston Brook, is there a rest stop between here and the point?
I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to figure out what undead we could be dealing with." And you see him, he reaches in his pocket, and he takes out, like, a quarter, and he pings it down the shaft, ding, 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 ding. And then he waits for it to hit something, and he hears the splash of it hitting water, like a second or two afterwards. And he's like, "All right, the pit's not that deep, so what in the blazes could be going on?" And he's like, and he's kind of like, "All right, well, I think." And actually, he turns to the foreman, and he's like, "Foreman, when did you unlock? Like, when did you this cavern with the crystals? When did you find this?" And the foreman's like, "Oh, we found that like a couple of months ago." And he's like, "And how long was that before the haunting started?" And he's like, like a couple of days, a week maybe." And Watchman's like, "Aha! There we have our proof." He's like, "So, what I would... It's actually, when you opened this cavern, did you happen to find anything strange? Any runes? Any baubles, tchotchkes, fetishes, murals, anything of the sort? Anywhere? And the foreman's like, make a check for him. See if he paid attention. He rolled a 4. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I would have heard about something like that if we did. And Mushroom's like, well, gentlemen, I have a theory. I believe that druidic, I would assume that druidic shrine out there isn't like a ritual circle or like a meeting, a conference room or like a weird portal of the Feywild. I think it was a warning. And I would assume that the druidic shrine warned people who came here not to dig in the mountain. And evidently, you did. So here we are.
How convenient.
You've released the contained power of whatever undead beasties in that pit, and it's been infecting the landscape for however many years that shrine's been there, which could be millennia, given how magic works and given how old druids can be. So, whatever's going on, not very bueno. And if it is undead, then presumably whatever got locked down here has gained in power. Because living creatures don't just miraculously become undead, right? There needs to be some kind of gimmick there, Yes, anyway, only one way to find out, and he just takes a step backwards and falls into the pit.
I'll chuckle. Oh, Boston always going headfirst into danger. Although, it's headfirst this time. I think he might split his head open.
Well, it's not head first, it's feet first. And he's landing in water, because you guys have heard water
True,
splash down.
I guess.
Out of nowhere, it's super shallow. Breaks
Yeah.
his ankles.
Breaks his knees.
Just hear it.
Yep.
Well, that's snapping
I
sound.
think Yuta is gonna be really happy that she challenged. We all challenged my JVH Boston Brook to touch it. All that just because he clanged his sword against some necrotic crystals.
Mm-hmm. Well, he knew what they were after JVH touched him. He just wanted to prove a point. But yeah, so you guys, so Butcher Book falls down, and you hear him splash at the bottom. And then, like a second later, you guys hear Boston Book, yell down from bottom of the pit. You're like, "Come on down. The water's fine, everyone. It's kind of cold, but
I'll jump in.
I think the
I'm tired of
fairy is
hearing
gonna-
people.
Actually, can the fairy float down? Tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Can the bone fairy float down?
The Bone Fairy can fly, right? I'm not going crazy.
Yes. I'm asking if they can both just straight up just fly down.
Yeah, you can fly down. You're
Okay.
not large size, so yeah, you can fit without a problem.
Alright, then they just
Alright. Yeah, so you all jump into the pit. Battlecock can glide down, so it doesn't even get that wet. He just lands on the top of the surface of the water, like a duck. And you all
Your
find
duck
yourselves in an underground lake. The water is probably only like 4 or 5 feet deep, so most of you can stand in it. Battlecock couldn't, but he can float, so who cares? Then in the middle of this underwater lake, or underground lake rather, there is a kind of like raised platform of like stone, and then there is a wooden chest over there, and then probably I think it's like 20-25 feet to the west, there is a big open section of like flattened like dry rock, like a big cavern. You also see a hole in the ceiling where 11B leads to, so you know that this is the same big, like the ceiling is like 60 feet high. It's pretty big. and then it all kind of connects to each other, basically. I can provide the map. I believe this is the map. Yes. So yeah, you guys are in 1A right now. You're all in the water. You're all wet. You're all gross. The water is kind of cold. Not like, you're gonna get hypothermia and perish cold, but cold. Yeah. There is some light in here in the form of the crystals that are in the walls and the ceilings. Not a lot of them. It's pretty dark. And Nyx can see fine because you have night vision. But the rest of you are kind of having trouble, seeing everything.
I'll light my lighter to see.
All right. Yes, you light your lighter up, and that lights up a little 10-foot area. X can summon a fireball or whatever, and have a torch basically. Bossbrook is too cool for lights. He's just gonna be blind like a real man. But yeah, so you're all in this big cavern. You're all up to your necks in water, except for the bone fairy up to her chest in water. There's a man with a little the chest on it, the bit, and then you can't see a staircase that kind of leads up a little bit. And Boston Brook knows that's the staircase that his find staircase spell clocked earlier.
Huh.
So yeah, it all comes full
See,
circle.
I told you it would be useful. Told you, find staircase. It will come in handy.
Find staircase the MVP, honestly.
Honestly.
Exactly. All according to Cake.
But yeah, so you guys are all there. What do you do?
Well, assumably get to dryness.
All right, you can get to the kind of dry section of the floor.
That would be nice.
But yeah,
You want to just see where the staircase leads?
Honestly, yeah, let's do it.
Wow, you're gonna ignore the ominous chest on the pedestal in the middle of the underground lake?
Yeah,
Cringe.
I am.
Cringe.
Shit,
Wow.
actually, I'm
Not
gonna
a loot
use.
goblin like the rest of us?
Oh shit!
Despicable, really.
My bad. I missed that. I'm going to immediately look at that chest and see how mystically magical it is.
The chest isn't magical. It isn't even locked. But there is a really bright, warbling sphere of necrotic energy in that chest.
I'm not gonna tempt fate.
You're not gonna risk being cursed for the rest of your life by this
Correct.
strange necrotic energy orb? Damn, bro, damn. It's a little bit cringe.
Correct. Because who wants to be necrotic?
None of you have astral vision yet. What a shame.
Man, if only.
If only
Oh,
Battlecock
maybe
were
we should
cool.
have Battlecock touch it.
We could.
Bro, undead
We
Battlecock?
could.
Make me into a vampire or a half ghost or something?
You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's have Battlecock touch the chest.
Alright. Battlecock pokes the chest with his beak. Nothing happens. It's a
Immediately
mundane
dies.
wooden chest. Well, it's super old, though. Also kind of rotting because it's been down here for so long.
Just poke out the chest. Don't even open it.
Yeah, he just... Nothing happened. I mean, when he pokes it... I guess when he pokes it, those of you who are staring at it with your magic vision up, see, the sphere, expand and fill the space of the chest, and, the lid of the chest kind of, bumps up and then kind of, shifts a little bit, and then after a second it kind of condenses back into the kind of shifting amorphous sphere of super condensed necrotic energy in the middle.
Can I shoot the chest?
I think that's a bad idea.
What?
The
No.
moment it's like necrotic area expanded, I'm like, aha.
It's like an annihilation bomb.
God, it's been down here for so
Actually,
long.
I wonder. Your boy Boston Brook is an abjuration specialist, right?
He is, yeah.
Do you think he could, like, I don't know, put a little magical carrying case around this thing so we could bring it back with us? Or
I can't, like, I mean, I think, did I give him the dome? I don't remember if I gave him the dome or not. I think I only gave him the beautiful building spell. I don't think I gave him the. I was gonna give him like the tiny hut spell that makes like the dome of like energy. That would have worked for this, but I didn't give it to him. So I mean, he didn't really cook an archmage, but I think he is. Bosworth's gonna walk over and see you guys debating whether or not to molest this chest. And he's gonna. He looks at it in his magic vision. And then he's going to like put his ear to it, and he kind of like he puts his ear to it. He's like,
oh
All right.
man, Boston Brook, the necrotic orb whisperer.
Necrotic orb whisper. And he kind of
the loot whisperer.
he kind of stands up, and he puts his ear to it, and he kind of nods to himself like, okay, I see. And then he kind of sits up straight. He's like, that chest, full of ghosts. Just saying.
How many of us can attack ghosts?
Like, well, how many of us can actually harm ghosts? We have JVH and myself who have magic swords. We have the spellcaster.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. I don't know if my sword can harm a ghost, but my lighter
We have
most
the lighter.
certainly can.
Well, your sword is magic, and that can harm ghosts.
Well,
Magic
all right
weapons can
then.
harm ghosts. Magic and silver hurt ghosts. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Pretty much nothing else does. Oh, well, technically, the only other thing that can hit a ghost is the weapon that killed it in life, but that's like super specific and impossible to find in this case. So
Rolls luck, nat 10. No, you still didn't find it.
yeah,
Fuck.
pretty much. I mean, you would find it. It would just be
Preparedness roll?
the boss. Yeah.
I prepared this.
Preparedness. I actually happen to have this knife that I found in the river up top when I was being strangled to death by that maiden.
Convenient.
Yeah, convenient. So Vesper's like, yes, I wouldn't recommend, since I don't think the fairies can really harm them, that we mess too much with the spectral undead.
I mean, we could.
Well, we could, but
Bro,
what would the
we
point
could
be?
just do it for kicks.
Like, yes, but these, as strong as this necrotic energy might be, they aren't
Shits and
powerful
gigs, you
enough
know?
to, make the crystals or anything. Well,
Just for shits and gigs.
he's like, really? You want to pick a fight with unknown number of unknown strength spectral undead?
Have you ever met us?
Good point. And he just kind of like takes like 10 steps back, and he flicks his wrist, and a mage hand appears and flicks the chest open, and a bunch of ghost seeds come flying out, like a bad 80s horror movie. I need everyone to roll initiative, as you're now in a fight with a bunch of ghosts and a banshee. I feel like Father Brown should have had a word about
That is a
that,
9.
but he's kind of terrified of you all, so. 9 plus 5
I
is
mean,
14.
Well,
someone
I'm
was
glad
saying
to
yes.
say that I'm getting back into the groove, guys.
1?
You know it.
Alright. What does Boston Brook get? 5. Wow. So that's a 9 for him. We're all rolling poorly except for JVH. We got a 9.
Hold on.
What does
Thank
Mason
you.
get?
Thank you.
He's got a 1. Great.
Apparently, the really shitty VFX are actually scaring us.
Apparently. And guess what Father Brown got? Take a gander.
A 2.
A 1.
Uh,
The only
I'm
number
gonna
that's worse.
say- I was gonna be like, oh, he got a 10. How nice.
What did the ghosts get? A 5.
A 10. Oh.
What was a 5 plus 8? Because they're ghosts, so that's 13. What does the banshee get?
A 10.
A 6 plus 8, which is 14. What about the fairies?
9.
See, someone's doing something. 9 plus 8 is 17.
Did
What
JVH
does-
for a while?
Yeah, I got a 14. What does Battlecock get?
Let me.
1 million.
Oh, Battlecock also has
An
real
8.
personality.
Let's do an
Forgot
8. An 8 plus. Was it 7? I think is his like a generic number. 8 plus, yeah. So 8 plus 7 is 15. All right. Up first is the fairies. I have to roll how many enemies there are. There are 3 ghosts and 1 banshee. They all are dressed in, oddly enough, druids' clothes,
Ah, so we're fighting druids.
including
Gotcha.
the banshee, who is an elf woman, but dressed in like, shaman's robes, basically. And they
Just
all do
commune
spawn
with
kind of
spirit.
around the place.
You know?
The banshee's gonna be back here. Actually, you are all on dry land, I assume, so I can kind of spread you guys out.
Yes. Yes.
I'll put you guys over here with the fairies because they wanted to go and check out the tunnel. I'll put Father Brown in the back because he sucks, along with, well, the foreman could be in the front because he doesn't care. I'll put X over here by the rest of you. Bosterbrook needed to be in range of Mage Hand, and Battlecock can be with X. All right. In that case, I can spawn these guys around here, put these over there. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's fairies.
How many enemies?
3 ghosts and 1 banshee. The nearest ghost to you, the enemy, is 20 feet. Yeah, 20 feet.
Okay. Damn. None of the bone stuff I make can attack them, right?
Nope. It's all not magical. That's why I was like, maybe we shouldn't mess with the chest full of ghosts. And you're like, you know what? Let's just bully the fairies. real
One
quick."
person said it. One person said it. I was like,
You're right.
No,
Yes,
X
you're
agreed.
right.
X agreed.
He's agreed to the fact that we're all crazy murder hobos.
I mean, the foreman is also down with this plan because as a paladin, he hates undead. So he's like,
Yeah.
sure.
See what
I mean, the banshee could have
mean?
one-shot him, but banshees
yes.
are also superior
Blind.
undead. So
He's
Blind
paladin though, but he's a paladin.
Damn.
and these banshee screams do like 1,000,000 damage. So
Glad to know, paladin equals barbarian brain.
not quite, but I mean,
Essentially.
he does hate undead. So
Okay, anyways, quick odd question.
mm-hmm.
I'm assuming
Quick odd answer.
sleep doesn't do shit.
Yeah, sleep
Nope.
does not work on most undead. It works on sentient undead, which
I
is
don't
why,
think
which is
ghosts
why it
count.
worked on the guys from Alagata on the Halloween special, because they're sentient. But these guys are not. They're just ghosts.
Yeah,
Just seen that one coming.
Yeah.
I did. I just wanted to make sure.
I wondered, does fireball work on ghosts?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. You want to see more crazy? The bone fairy completely disengages. Just nope.
Well, you mean you're 20 feet away? You're just like, no, I'm not gonna. Can't do anything. I'm not gonna fight him.
Can't do anything. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
can't do anything.
And I don't think
alright.
the fairy can do anything because they don't
the
have
fairy fire
teeth.
bolt for arrow. That works.
Oh, I guess that works. Sure.
Does it work? Is it required to hit them? Or is it just like lands near them? Or is it like an AoE?
Let's see there. Coding it, the AoE.
Yeah, it's an
Let's
AoE.
see.
So yeah, that works on them.
Okay. Are there any two that are next to each other?
Yes. One of the ghosts and the banshee are adjacent to one another.
Okay, and that's the only two that are adjacent to each other.
Yeah. They're
Okay,
kind of.
so she's gonna fire a pair at them, and then she's gonna fire a pair at like the closest enemy.
Okay, so you're gonna fire a fairy fire arrow at the
The Banshee,
Banshee?
and that ghost. So that's one
Okay.
arrow, and then because I don't think they're the closest one is like 20 feet away. She's gonna shoot one there, and then the Bone Fairy is going to back up. She's playing backline today.
Although actually that fairy fire is really good because it means that they can't go invisible, which is really good fighting ghosts, as you might imagine. So I'm actually going to
Yes.
increase their opacity so they can actually are physically seen more well. Okay, so and then what's for the Tooth Fairy's second action?
Fire a second Fairy fire. Yeah, Fey fire at
One of the other guys.
the one closest to like I guess the group,
All right,
which
cool.
would be me, and then the Bone Fairy is going to
Yeah,
have
just back up.
Yuna on her shoulder and back up.
All right, you do so. You back up like kind of up the stairs because they do go up for like 10 feet. So you back up onto the stairs. Just kind of like, I'm a fae. I don't deal with ghosts.
That's her job.
Yeah,
Not
it's
my
like-
job.
Not my job.
That's the
your
soul
job.
fairy job. I'm a bone fairy. Different thing.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the fairy's turn. Up next then is Battlecock.
Punished.
Battlecock.
Punished
Alright.
Battlecock.
Not
Roll
yet,
for
not quite yet.
poisonality.
Let's see.
Not yet, he
That's
says.
a 9.
Preparing to suicidally charge 9. I think that means you're a serial killer.
Oh,
So you will suicidally charge?
It does, yeah. You're a serial. So 9 is a serial killer. So yeah. So you have access to all of Battlecock's many abilities. How many
Sick
will work
nasty.
against ghosts? Very few. Because
Hmm.
I don't think Battlecock's. Actually, that being said, if it uses key, then yeah, because key is magic. So yes, they would work if they use key.
Actually, I might have to, for once, not use a serial killer ability because I don't
Yeah.
think any of them
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
work
none
on
of them-
ghosts.
Yeah, none of them work on ghosts. Hilarious. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
So maybe Angry Bird.
Angry Bird. Yeah, that would work. Because it's on you. So.
Alright. Well, in that case, then I'll have Battlecock use Angry Bird, and then
All right.
hop, skip it, or jump over to the nearest ghost.
Alrighty. So he hop skips and jumps 15 feet to the nearest ghost, and then he is angry chicken. Takes half damage for
Draw the little
how many
angry
turns?
eyebrows on him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be 4 turns.
4. Alrighty, I will get the marker for that. Cool. All right. So that is Battlecock's turn. Can make this dice a little bit smaller. 4 combat turns. All right. Up next then is the Banshee because Banshee has higher agility than JVH.
Oh, sick.
Now I get to party wipe. Donde está la Banshee? Here we go. What to do?
Donde está biblioteca?
She could Sonic Scream. She could Death Song. She could Eerie Scream. She could.
She
or
could, but she could
Cold
also
Touch.
not.
Odd question. Am I far away from all of her attacks?
Let me look. No, because her Death Song is Earshot AoE, which is like 300 feet. So
Oh god.
Yeah, her Sonic Scream, you're out of the range of, I think. But the rest, you are not. But I don't think she thinks you guys are tough enough to warrant, like, Death Song yet.
Alright, everyone just focus on her. You know, no one insta-kill her goon. She's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, do you wanna
That
know?
would actually
I mean,
be
I can
smart.
use Death Song so you know what it does.
No.
Please don't one-shot our paladin.
What do you
Oh.
mean?
Well, that's his fault. But
She was okay. If
Yes,
you're not
but
gonna
we
let me
kinda
use
need
the
him.
Uber ability, then she will simply use Sonic. She'll move up, and then she will use Sonic Scream. So how far is she currently? This is 5, 10, 15, 20, 24. Oh, great! I need to get. I actually have AoE markers now, which
oh, you do. That's pretty nice.
yeah, it's pretty.
Oh,
sweet.
sick nasty.
I think this is 30 feet. That's long cones. This is 30 feet. Okay. Sick. This is 30 feet is a big AoE. Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
Uh.
I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that.
You want to know who this hits?
Who?
Everyone.
Everyone except for the fairies and Father Brown.
Oh, now?
Okay.
Because of course it would.
Yeah, because you were all bunched up together trying to go up the stairs. She doesn't have to move either. She can just do it. So she needs to make an endurance check, or instantly gank the entire party. No, just kidding. I mean, actually, you couldn't. She would have won. Never mind, it doesn't work. And that's on cooldown, so she can't use that.
Suck on that. Bitch.
Instead, she will just go for Death Song. If her side gimmick won't work, then she'll use her nuke.
Main gimmick. Nice.
So I need everyone to make me an endurance check at disadvantage.
Ah, joy.
Nice.
I'll roll for
Well, that's a 6.
Boston Brook has a pass. Boston Brook passes barely.
Well done.
The
Ooh, I'm out.
Paladin definitely fails. That's unfortunate. Father Pete.
What did he roll?
But a 2. Father Pete passes though.
I got a 7.
Got a 7. All right. You should roll for both fairies.
Oh shit, yeah. I got an 8, which was
All
Yuna.
right. So yeah, so both of the fairies are fine. GBH is fine. X and Battlecock.
Give me just 1 second.
1.
Okay, Battlecock got a 4, and for X, I did not even have to roll the second to die.
Oh no, that's real unfortunate. So Battlecock got a 4, and he's currently. Oh yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's totally fine. So X got a 1, I assume.
You know it.
The statistics of this happening this often is just astounding to me, honestly. It's like what, like
That's
4
kinda
ones in a row now. So X goes unconscious, as does Mason. So
Oh no.
you're all sitting there going like, oh, well, pick on some ghosts. It'll be no big deal. Then the Banshee, she goes to let out a sonic scream, but she kind of coughs.
And it just doesn't happen.
work. So then instead, she decides to let out the most ear-piercing, blood-curdling scream that any of you have ever heard in your entire life. I guess maybe besides the GVH, probably fought you guys before. Same with Boston Brook. The rest of you, the loudest, most painful scream you ever heard in your life. It's so painful, so loud, that your eardrums burst, so you're bleeding out of your ears, your noses, your eyes, your visions flicker and like cut out because of how like pressured your brains are. You all like fall to your knees and stuff, and she does this massive wail. Mason just falls like a sack of potatoes, as does X. They're not dead,
Ah.
but you are both reduced to 40 HP and are automatically unconscious.
Oh no.
So you're not dead, but you could be.
Probably should be.
Yeah, I didn't want to just make like an
Very
accuracy kill
lucky.
ability, so instead you're only unconscious and crippled for life.
Luck.
Let me just still check. I don't think there are any other abilities that go along with that. If you're not unconscious, do not do undead. You're not undead. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's what happens on her turn. So X is unconscious, and Mason's unconscious. The rest of you are alive, but in pain. You're also all deafened, by the way. That's something to keep in mind. You can't hear anything. That's her turn. GVH, you've just been screamed at real loud. You're deaf.
Yeah.
Your ears are ringing. You got tinnitus. You just watched X collapse. Same with the paladin. They're both unconscious, bleeding profusely from their ears, eyes, mouths, noses.
I'm. It's lighter time.
All right, you. That's like about a 50-foot range.
Something like that, I think.
Check. Lighter of evil. Yeah, 50 feet. So you can hit one from where you're currently standing.
All right. Yeah. Then I'll do that, please.
All right. Hiccups. This is an AoE, goes K dodge. All right. Yeah, so just give me
Roll
3d100 damage. Yeah.
All right.
This isn't double because while he isn't undead, he's a spirit undead, not a undead. So.
All right. Doesn't matter as long as I do damage.
Yeah.
Okay. 90, 80, and a 50.
90, 80, 170, 50 is 200 and something. 220. Almost dead, but not quite. It's first action.
A little more dead would have been better. I'll flick it again.
All right, then bother rolling. Your minimum damage would kill it. So you and this massive blast of fire, goes over Battlecock's head and obliterates, almost obliterates this one ghost who kind of.
I can imagine JVH like holding one of his ears.
Yeah,
while he,
he's like
pulls it out. And he's like, God damn it!
Yeah, and your vision is like blurry and flickering, and you can't hear anything. So you're just like, your finger like slips a couple times trying to hit the sparker, and you finally it catches and you, and you do a second time, and the ghost, like the second time your lighter goes off, it engulfs the ghost, and then the ghost like the ectoplasm is converted into fire, so the ghost like becomes flames, and then like
that's sick.
and then dissipates into heat.
That's pretty sick.
So that is GVH's turn. Up next is the ghosts. I don't think they're gonna go after the priest because I know the priest is kind of means business. So one's gonna go after Boss.
Holy man, scary.
Yeah, and the second one's gonna go after GVH and ignore Battlecock because it's a chicken. Angry chicken, but still a chicken.
Do they know the concept of a chicken?
I mean, they were alive, so yeah, they know what chickens are, but they don't think that he's anything but a mundane angry chicken.
Chicken angry.
A fatal mistake.
Yeah, little do they know.
Does Battlecock have anything against undead?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Man,
We should have had him touch the chest. Touch the orb in the chest.
So
Come on, Battlecock, do it.
Is going to. It's not gonna work though.
What isn't?
All right, so man, they chose to attack the two guys with the highest willpower in the entire party.
Are you
Yeah.
trying to do possession?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, because the second ghost is in melee with both Battlecock and JVH. He's gonna try to possess Battlecock instead. That's gonna be funny. 27th soul in Battlecock's body.
A Civil War soldier.
Yeah.
It ends up like screwing itself. It's like, oh, I possessed the wrong person.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
No, this is how Battlecock becomes a death monk.
Ah, he gets possessed by another. That's what Kyle suggested before, where like he can absorb souls. So this guy possesses him, and Battlecock just like slurps him. You're stuck in here with the rest of us now, nerd. Yeah,
I'm
right.
not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me.
Exactly.
Ugh.
So in that case, I need Battlecock to make me a willpower 1d10 plus willpower versus the ghost's 1d10 plus endurance.
He's supposed to fail? Is this,
I mean, you
is
can
this what
choose
we're
to
doing?
fail if you want to let the ghost possess Battlecock, but
I mean, as funny as that would be,
the ghost rolled a
I
10
think
anyway, so that's an 18. No, 17.
So
in total.
you really don't have a choice here.
You know, it's gonna be a 17 in total.
got an 8 on the die.
An 8 on the die. Battlecock is pretty angry.
But is he? I'm gonna kill my friends angry.
An 8 plus an 8 is 16 versus the ghost's 17. Ooh. Ooh. But the ghost does win. The ghost does possess Battlecock.
Wow.
I mean, I'll go over that when Battlecock's turn comes around, I guess. That's going to be interesting. And then the other ghost's going to try to, I don't know,
Go ahead.
like,
Go ahead.
harass Boston Brook.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Going to use Cold Touch, which is their version of a bare hands attack. A ghostly ectoplasmic hand, a living creature within melee range.
You're gonna get chilly.
So Boston Brook can most certainly dodge, even though he's only in old man form. He can still attempt to avoid the ghost. Oh, have at thee, knave! He does, and he'll full counter, just to really overkill.
Full counter.
Just, not even gonna bother rolling dice. He just kills the ghost. Just
Full counter.
yeah. So the ghost tries to reach out a cold hand to Boston Brook, and Boston Brook's like, nah, knave, and just draws his sword. And he bisects the ghost. The ectoplasm like collapses into the water and dissolves into mist as he's been slain. In that case, we come to
Peasant.
Boston Brook, ironically. Boston Brook turns and ganks Battlecock being possessed. No, I'm kidding. He could, but he won't.
The priest might.
The priest
just
could
might.
exorcise Battlecock, which would be horrifying. Oh my god, that's what I know what I'm doing on the priest's turn.
Oh no.
Battlecock,
Exercise a chicken.
Boston Brook will. He's just gonna sprint through the water. It does count as difficult terrain because he can't fly yet. He's a nerd. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Actually, no, you can only get there. This is sword.
Possessed by a ghost, he
You can
can't
get there.
fly.
Yeah, so Boston Brook runs through the water, his sword drawn. I'm gonna I might have him use a gimmicky ability, one of his fun things. He could use. That's not super relevant. He could compel the duel with Banshee, but I feel like that's overkill
Do
at
it.
this point.
Do it.
It's overkill. In a waste of
Do
an action.
it.
He's just gonna cut her up 3 times. Just swish slash swash.
Make the ghost duel.
I mean, the ghost is gonna duel the Banshee. How many reactions does she have? Only 1. Oh, I get schwacked. They can try to dodge this, the first one of the attacks, but she does. It's not gonna matter. She still takes 10 d100 damage. God. Alrighty. 10 d100 coming at the Banshee's face. She takes 480 damage.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think that does it.
I'd say
250
so.
So he climbs up onto the pedestal. He kicks the chest off of the pedestal into the water for dramatic effect. He swipes his sword 1 time. The Banshee floats out of the way, and he brings the back with a backhand, and he cuts her across the face, and then he brings the sword down one final time and just cuts from her shoulder to her hip, just, and the ectoplasm slops onto the ground, and then into mist. That's his turn. Next we go to Anvil, deceased. Well, not really, but unconscious. Next we go to Father
Deceased.
Pete Brown. Pete Brown looks at the chicken being possessed, and he's going to cast Exorcise.
God, how is that gonna work?
So he chooses a target within
Not
30
fun.
feet and extends the Bible at the target, yelling for the possessed entity to expel itself from the target's body. So the user, so he makes 1d10 plus charisma versus the ghost's willpower. But because this is a very particular case, I would also like Battlecock himself to make a 1d10 plus willpower on top of the ghost to see how many souls Father Brown exercises.
He just has to succeed.
Yeah, if
Oh,
he
no.
passes, then no additional ones besides the ghost will get exercised. So so this is the ghost. He rolled really poorly. Father Brown rolled also really poorly. But I think ghosts have terrible willpower. No, I lied. They have 9. I had 7, but total of 9 plus is 2. Versus Father Brown's charisma of 6 plus 3 is also 9, so they match. But it goes to the defender, so it doesn't work. But how many? So does Battlecock's own willpower, whatever 1d10 plus 8, beat a 9?
I got an 8 on the die.
So yeah, so Father walks up and he's like, be gone from this chicken, spirit, and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happened. And
There's
Father
back
Brown's
at the
like,
chicken.
bro.
Now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Can Battlecock fight back against the spirit on his own
Yes, on his turn he
and
can attempt
try-
to fight back.
and try to
Um,
absorb the spirit?
Should I? Because technically, exercise is on cooldown, but this is an epic role-playing opportunity, so I almost want to make him do it again. But I won't. I'm just going to have him sit there and weep because his one cool ability literally failed him at the optimal moment. So instead, we're going to skip to Battlecock's next turn, because the first one can do anything, and that's the enemies are dead. So, Battlecock, roll me 1d10 plus your willpower again, and I will roll 1d10 plus the ghost's endurance to see who can resist. Who can, can the ghost stay in the body or not? Ghost got an 11.
This is my willpower, right?
Yeah. So plus, like,
I think that's a...
7 or 8.
Let me see. Willpower is... Actually, it's 8, because I haven't switched off of killer. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a 15.
15. Okay. So does Battlecock want to take this soul, or do you just want to expel it from you? Like, forcibly...
I think Battlecock's... I think the scene I'm picturing in my head is like the ghost slurps into Battlecock for the possession, and they just find themselves in a dark room, sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
And then the lights turn on, and there's 26 spectral beings standing behind the couch, arms crossed.
Yes, I was gonna say that if you didn't. Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, 24 martial arts masters, 1 serial killer, and a normal chicken spirit are all behind this couch. And the ghost, who's this like ancient Native American druidic shaman, just looks around and his eyes go wide, and then we like cut to black. What do you want to happen?
They were all wearing white t-shirts.
Of course, yeah. All wearing white t-shirts and no pants.
Non-copyright PH intro, please.
If only I had a drum set, I'd play it.
Hold on, let me call George. You know,
Yeah.
or Neo.
But yeah,
Good
so
work.
does Battlecock want to like absorb the soul, destroy it? I mean,
I think.
do you think
I
that
think
this?
we
Okay,
all know the
do we
funnier
think that
option.
this is the catalyst for Battlecock's soul powers?
I think so. Well, think
mean-
about it. It's a Native American shaman.
He becomes a
that doesn't
druid.
mean death monk.
But it opens the door for spirituality.
I mean, he's
don't-
already a monk. He's already a key user.
That doesn't open spirit. He's not Tibetan, all right. He's only a
That's
druid,
it.
all right.
I mean, I think
Anyways.
there's an argument that could be made for it because
Yeah. I was gonna say yes, cause then like all the souls come and are like, wait,
yeah,
we
like,
can
fight back.
slurp souls or something. You know,
Yeah.
like
We can absorb these things.
I don't know
Yeah.
about like all straight up absorbing, cause that just leads to him unlocking the ability to take all of our souls if he ever wanted.
Bro, what do you mean?
But I definitely think this, like, you can argue, oh, he manipulated the soul that came in, and then they're like, wait, we can do that? They fly now, you know? So
Okay, all right. So in that case, then I guess you know, yeah. So this ancient undead druidic shaman spirit gets gangbanged by the 25 souls contained within Battlecock's body. And by gangbanged, I mean like they erase this soul from existence. Like he no afterlife for him. He's just gone. But that's what death monks do. So yes, the Battlecock no longer obsessed. Combat's over because you've slain the last enemy. I guess yeah. So actually, okay. So the rest of you watch this ghost slurp into Battlecock, and then the priest walks up, tries to Kugaracha over his body. It doesn't work, obviously, because you know God is dead. You guys see like Battlecock when he like twitches and he like spasms and he like cockadoodle doos a couple times, sputtering, stammering. And then you guys see Battlecock collapse, unconscious. And you're all like, oh no, what happened? And then this, like, explosion of souls erupts from Battlecock's body as this, like, crowd of 26 souls, like, float in the air above his body. And they all look around, and they're all, like, different, like, monks, like Tibetan. Some of them are like Chinese, some of them Japanese, some of them are like, various other types of martial arts masters. The one chicken soul's also in there. They look around, look at each other. They look that they've destroyed the soul, and then they all just kind of back into Battlecock's body, and he jumps back up, and with his karate stance, ready to go. And now I can swap out Battlecock's current character sheet for the character sheet of Battlecock, the Death Monk. I haven't finished his character sheet for the Death Monk, but that is, in universe because he only just like unlocked this. So the powers he gets from this are for this mission. This mission he will unlock the rest of them basically. So I can actually delete my original Battlecock character sheet. Bam. Then I can add this one to the characters. His sheet is much longer now, and I'm not even like halfway finished with the abilities.
happens, yeah.
Speaking of which, I've got 9 for you when the session's over. So
Jesus.
last night I just went on a thinking spree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so Battlecock, for one, he no longer has to roll for his personalities at the beginning of his turn. Instead, he can choose his personalities. That is what the Soul Swap ability does. I just haven't written it down yet, but that's what it does. He can also, in addition, he can sense death. He can cluck with dead, which is speak with dead. He can heal himself with chi. He can forcibly project someone's soul, redirect missiles. Astral Seal is to prevent someone's soul from entering or leaving their body. Helping Hands is Astral Monk, extra pair of arms, come out and punch stuff. Dojo of Souls is Astral Guardians. And that's it so far, because I couldn't think of anything else between yesterday and today. So he has unlocked a few new cool abilities. And so Battlecock is now OP Battlecock.
Nice.
That chicken is the damage of the party.
Yes, yeah, for real. Now you get why we told you that before the campaign started. But yeah, so the combat's over. However, X and Mason are unconscious.
I don't happen to have a healing soul in there, Battlecock, do you?
He does now, actually. Yeah, he can. And he didn't
He
write
can
the
heal
ability,
now?
but he can heal. Yeah, well, he can heal himself.
Oh.
I haven't decided if I'm allowing it to heal somebody else yet.
Ah.
Probably because it's like soul stuff. But
Mm,
yeah, he does have a heal now.
okay. Well, we have 2 unconscious people that can't regenerate. That's crazy.
Oh, did I? Okay. I mean, Father Brown can heal, so he
Ah.
does. He just and the 2 unconscious guys come back. Kind of. Well, you're both at. Actually,
Heal
what
him real
healing
quick.
would? What healing will Father Brown use? Father Brown will use Cure Wounds on both of them. So that's 2 more spells used. So Cure Wounds heals for 1d8 times 10 HP for both of them. So I will roll separately. First one is for X. 60 HP, so you're 100 health. It's not that bad, given that you were deceased a minute ago. And then,
Alright, I'll groggily get up and be like, 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Yeah, you are all also no longer deafened. That has worn off by now.
Nice.
That's good.
But yeah, so
Well, all right.
so Anvil wakes up as well at 70 health instead of the 500 he had a minute ago. Big downgrade. And he gets up, he's like, oh, and he vomits up blood and stuff. And he's like, I really hate undead.
Understandably.
But you were all out of combat. What do?
Well, I would say move on to 2.
Move on to yeah, sure. And you've been into. That's the dry area of the.
Oh, okay.
Like-
Okay. Well, then on to 3.
All right, so you guys walk up these kind of 10-foot, 15-foot stairs. You come to a door. It is unlocked. You guys step in. And you see that this room, it's a roughly hewn rocky cavern with 2 very tranquil, still pools built into the floor. They look kind of natural, but they're also a bit too symmetrical. Like they match too well to be purely natural. Don't know what they're used for, and there is no visible exit to this room besides the door you came in.
Well, right.
We just have pedestals in front of us.
There are pools of water built into the floor.
two symmetrical pools, but they're two perfectly symmetrical.
Well, they're not like perfectly symmetrical because they're very old, but they are still way too similar to be natural.
Right.
You also do see that. Actually, at this point, I think at the very least, you and Bosch would make this. Probably X would too. One of these pools corresponds to. Actually, well, I guess they both would be like underneath the river that runs through the cave system. How do I hint this? Jivich can make me an intelligence check, as can Bostonbrook, because they're both mages, like general mages. Bostonbrook, of course, succeeds.
That is a 9.
So you both, Bostonbrook, both figure these look like makeshift divining pools used for scrying.
Is that bad?
No, used for divination magic. So it's used to spy on people, basically.
Oh, okay. Well,
Clairvoyance.
it's not too terrible.
Clairvoyance and clear audience, I think, is the audio version. But yeah, it's just magic pools. Well, not magic, but they're used for magic. But yeah, there's no visible exit beside the door, and then just these two pools. And
There's no one in here?
Nope.
You
It's
should
very quiet.
See if the pool works.
I don't think any of you can actually cast divination spells, so you don't know how to use them. You just know you kind of figured that what they're used for. Because there are like, taking a closer look to figure out what they do. There are some like runes and some like shapes and stuff carved around them in the bottom of them and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. You know what? Can I use magic vision?
Yeah, sure.
Can I detect magic?
Yeah, the pools do give off like the slightest bit of like residual divination magic. Give me a perception check. Sure.
Okay. 10 crit success.
Oh, so you are looking around the room. You've got your magic vision up. You're going around, and you come to the kind of northwestern kind of wall area, and you see that there is some more magic through the wall, and you're like, that's interesting. And you get up close, and you kind of trip on like a stalagmite, and you fall against the wall, and you happen to fall through the wall because it's an illusion, and you find yourself standing in a totally other room. Now I can give you guys the full map. Lamau?
And that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna actually post it in maps this time?
Oh.
Of course not.
Well, I can, you know what? Don't get a map now.
Okay, so where were we before? Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Big old place.
That's a lot. So we're in 4, right?
Well, you are, like, in between 3 and 4, yeah. Where that S is in the wall that I had to Photoshop out. That's why I use white maps for dungeons, so I can hide the secret rooms easier.
All right. Well, I mean, shit.
Yeah. Yes. The rest of you are in 3, and you just watch JVH go. Oh, he trips and he just falls through one of the walls.
Man, I knew he was a mage, but geez, didn't have to show off.
I was like, oh, he learned to mold earth. Very impressive skill. And then Monster Bug just kind of walks up and touches it. And he's like, oh, it's less impressive, only an illusion. And he just walks through.
Wow, shit. Hit on him.
But yeah, room 4, very similar room to room 3. And there are 3 pools. However, these are like they're kind of more natural, but they're like tiered stacks of like geodes that have been like mold earthed fused together, and the geodes hold different kinds, like different like glowing kinds of like water or like various substances. It all puts off a pretty like notable like hum of magic. These kind of like, they're all like 5-6 feet tall. They're pretty big, and they're all these big like cascading fountains and like different like look like art, like magic art, like geode art, but like fountains, and they're drawing water from the river above. That's what's leaking from a crack in the ceiling, and that drips into the top basin, and then it rolls over and into the smaller like lower like levels of the like cut open geodes. Very pretty. No clue what they do, but it's very pretty.
All right. Well, on we press. So we're in 4, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can go and look in 5.
All right. Looking at 5. It's an empty room, although it is definitely more man-made than the rest. It is, the walls are walls, floors, ceilings are smooth. The doorways are actual like stone doorways. Looks super old. Probably you would imagine of like Native American origin, judging by the carvings in the walls and stuff. And then there is a door that leads to a staircase that kind of winds back and forth, zigzags, but it does ascend into darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can come back this way. On to 6.
Alrighty, so you guys push aside the tapestry in room 4, and you walk through some more roughly hewn caverns till you come to a rather strange looking kind of like Y-shaped room, in the middle of which there is a long, like, I guess that would be like 5-6 feet wide by like 15, 20, 25 feet long, reflective pool, like a memorial pool almost, for like perfectly rectangular. And then at the end of it, there is another big geode fountain, but this one has a big statue on the top of it. The statue is of a vaguely humanoid-looking creature, with what's the word for the leg structure? I know this word. Like dog legs, they have like the. I've written down in the.
You mean how they're bent?
Yeah. I know what the word is. I just don't remember.
Talking about digitigrade, or is
yeah,
that
digitigrade. Digitigrade legs, and more notably, this statue has really big clawed hands covered in fur, a deer skull for a head, with big curling antlers that form like a huge like mantle and like crown over his shoulders, his back, his head.
Oh.
The water is also
Aries,
pitch black. Yeah, the water is also pitch black. Like Black 3.0, like a photoshopped hole in the ground black. But it does still ripple like water, and it reflects some of the light from the waves. And then beyond the statue and the creepy fountain with the weird statue on it, embedded in the wall, there is what looks like a kind of like tiny shrine kind of built into the cavern wall, with a very shiny black stone statue that is smaller, a smaller version of the big one on the fountain. And it's on like a little pedestal of like rock, and then there's some chunks of like rotting meat and mushrooms. The meat looks kind of insectoid, and one of those limbs you could swear is a drow leg, but it's too rotted to know for sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's definitely not, ominous or anything.
Mm-hmm. For sure. You have black pool, creepy statues, a shrine, a fountain, and the sacrificial foods offered to whatever this entity is.
Mhm.
Definitely think.
Ominous that it's like the sacrifice is a drow leg.
Well, it's just one of them. Yeah, there are mushrooms and stuff. I mean, you're all, well, maybe not the fairies, but the rest of you are well enough educated in, the world to know that, like, given that it's like a drow leg, weird mushroom thing, some insectoid limbs, these probably were all gathered from the abyss, like the Underdark, basically. Which means that wherever, like this, like you guys are way too high up for the abyss. So wherever this cave system goes, at some point it goes real deep, like almost to the hollow earth deep. For whatever this base belongs to get like drow limbs, or I guess he was the victim of like a drow raid or something. That's kind of rare.
Or if drow were here.
Drow don't. Well, make me an intelligence check. No advantage because this isn't quite
Okay.
but you're 4,000 years old.
That is a 7, sir.
Drow do not sacrifice their own in
Well,
that
no,
way.
I'm saying, like, something was killed here and then sacrificed to this altar. Like, a drow was killed here and sacrificed
Yeah, you take a
some
look at the
point.
limb. It's definitely some kind of elf, and it has darker skin. You can tell that's because it's
Could be
rotting, or
drow.
because it's it could be drow. Yeah, it could be drow. And the other limbs and stuff, other bits and bobs, are definitely from the abyss. You've done enough alchemy work to know that they are from the abyss.
Okay.
But yeah, also, creepy statue. None of you. Well, yes, X could make me like an intelligence check at like disadvantage. Same with the fairies, I guess, if they wanted to.
Or
Because you guys might recognize who this entity is. The fairies more so than X, I think.
Yeah, I don't think a 3 passes.
And Mike, you're pretty smart.
I got a 5 for. I got a 5 for Yuna.
All right, so
Nixa got a 4.
what did you get, Xavier?
3.
That matches. I get to choose. So I think you'll pass, because, why not? And then a 5 for Yuna, which does also match. So I'll say that Yuna would know more than an X would. So, judging by all of the things that you've seen, X, you make the connection. This black pool is the same shade of really dark black as the strange, like, inky, powdery stuff that you found at the asylum. Which makes sense. The fairies, you would make the connection between, because you never saw the black ink stuff. So, between the weird pool and the obsidian statue and the sacrifice of sentient creatures, whatever elf limb this is, you being from the Feywild, you are aware that there are, you're part of the Unseelie Fae, so they're kind of like the quote-unquote, like, evil fairies, but you know that there are actual evil fairies, that live in a, like, realm of shadow and darkness and stuff like that that's horrifying. I've never been there. you've only heard about it in stories because you know that the ancient humans forced the third court of fairies, the Fomorians, into this shadow realm when the Irish arrived in Ireland to colonize it, whereas they just forced you guys into the Feywild. So you know that this realm exists. Don't know what it's called, but this kind of reminds you of that. And you've heard that said entity, said realm, has a god, a creator, and that it is worshipped by cultists and stuff. As is those evil elves and fairies you know about. They worship the same entity. So.
Are you saying I know who this god is, or at least who this
You've
deity
heard
is?
of, you don't know his name, but you've heard that the realm of the Unbeheld exists. You don't know what it's called, the Unbeheld, but you know that it exists. And you've heard that, like, there's a realm of shadow and darkness and insanity, whatever, that, like, the evil elves and the evil gods of Ireland were banned to, basically. And then it kind of matches with what you see here, of, like, all the shadow stuff, all the weird, creepy, eldritch dark things, the weird water. I guess you also might recognize the statue, as would I, Bosterbrook certainly would, recognize the statues as depicting a Wendigo. Or a Wendigo, if you want to pronounce it properly. Because Wendigo are technically demons, but not like the Abrahamic demon.
Understandable.
So yeah, you're like, oh, I think I've heard about something that looks kind of like this. So you know that actual Wendigo don't have deer skulls for heads. You know that you've heard about.
Well, I will look to Bostenbrook and I'll point at the statue and I'll be like, so about that thing about people being eaten earlier.
Bosterbrook's like, yes, see, now you understand my point, right? It's like, it would appear that my suspicions were correct. We're dealing with some kind of Wendigo. Great. Perfect. Just what I want to do with my Friday morning. Perfect, yes.
Didn't one of those, like, trap, what should we call it? Oklahoma?
Oh, that wasn't a Wendigo.
Another dimension.
That was the god of the Wendigo.
Oh, well.
And
I don't know. One of them has Oklahoma.
Yeah, but when his eyes go wide, and he looks at the statue, and he's like, "Oh no!"
No, just
Don't tell
what
me.
I wanted.
Like,
Don't tell me.
Well, you said that. Oh, there's a Wendigo that took over Oklahoma, and I mean, he often takes the form of a Wendigo, but he isn't one, technically, because he's a god. He's a concept. This looks a lot like the things that I've heard from Oklahoma coming out of that place. I believe there was a certain group of adventurers that were so paranoid about these statues that would smash them on sight. He says, drawing his sword, smashing the Sicilian statue.
That's crazy.
Sheaths his sword again. Just for good measure.
So what you're saying is we should be smashing this statue right now?
Yes. Probably.
All right, count me in. I'll join him.
So you all just start, like, ganking this fountain, kicking this geode fountain down to destroy the statue. I don't know what it does or who it's to, but it's creepy, so you're destroying it. And yes, you guys kick it over and you destroy it. And as you kick it over and you push it into the fountain of the dark water, the darkness in the water recedes and it becomes normal water again. And you all hear this kind of muffled, like, cackling. Like, really deep, menacing cackling coming from, like, in your heads. Like,
I don't know why that son of a bitch is laughing. We just destroyed a statue.
Man, it's almost exactly like Oklahoma. I mean, man, that man.
What like
uncanny coincidence. I feel a sense of deja vu.
deja vu. Wow.
That's kind of crazy, guys.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
But yeah, so you smashed the statues, you looked at the dead limbs, you concluded Shadow God from unknown realm, unknown place, unknown time, same bat channel, doing creepy stuff, probably a cultist, probably the other Wendigo. Mossberg's like, he turns to Father Brown and he's like, Father Brown, you wouldn't happen to have I don't know, a silver lockbox approximately yay big, and he kind of makes some hand gestures, like, you know, like big enough to fit out, I don't know, a really big heart covered in ice, you know? Father Brown's like, yeah, how'd you know?
Have it on me right now.
Lucky guess.
I was like, great, we happen to have a silver knife, silver axe, you know. And Father Brian's like, no, that I do not have. Moss was like, ooh, that is really unfortunate.
What do we need a silvered axe for?
Well, as the only member of the party, I believe who's dealt with Wendigo before, I can say with certainty there are very, very few ways to permanently kill one, because you can kill the body, but you have to kill the soul, because they're spirits. And the ritual...
Just use 45 ACP.
Also draws his 1911. Is like, see, this would work, but the part of the ritual requires you to use a silvered axe to cut the monster's body into 4 equal pieces. Which
And it
won't
has
work.
to be silvered.
Yes.
Your Boston Brooks magic swords won't do the trick.
No. Needs to be silvered. It's a magic ritual, my guy. I can't just, change the ritual. This is an ancient rite, right? This is an ancient shamanistic ritual performed by Native American peoples to
Wow.
permanently kill incredibly powerful and insane cannibalistic spirits of the undead. All right.
And they should have made it
How
easier.
marshmallows you are.
Wow. All right. Honestly, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, come on, Boston Brook. Do your Archmage thing.
You know, we don't need a silver
Change
axe.
the
anymore.
course
You know
of
what?
history.
I'm done.
Like, if I had a Philosopher's Stone, I could make you some silver, yes, but I don't have a Philosopher's Stone, and I can't make one because those require human souls, and I don't think any of us want to give up our souls to make a Philosopher's Stone. So,
I mean, I'd offer mine, but it's not really mine to get. So.
yes, you and your... Yeah, I don't feel like having a demon come after my soul as penance for taking yours, so... I have enough problems with hell as it is, thank you very much. Like, look...
Well, we
Maybe-
do have a soul.
Like, well, maybe in place of silver, fire might work. How
I've
directed
got
can we
that.
make the beams? We need to make them very fine, like lasers, basically, like pew, to cut the
I
body up.
think we've got enough fire.
No, he said accurate fire. There's a difference between having a lot of fire and accurate fire.
Look, a lot of fire is the same as accurate fire.
Not
Did you not
in
hear the
this
first
case. You
part
need to
cut
them
into
up
4
into 4
equal
pieces.
pieces?
And then, once you cut them into 4 equal pieces, you burn them each to ashes. Actually, no. You need to salt them first. Then you burn them to ashes, and then sprinkle the ashes over one of the 4 winds each, north, south, east, and west. Then, gonna put their ice-covered heart, stab it with a silver blade or bullet or sword or whatever, put that thing into a silver lockbox, and bury it under a graveyard next to a church.
Like you said, real specific.
That's
Yes.
very specific.
Like, and this is only assuming that this Wendigo is a normal Wendigo. If it's some kind of wacky, otherworldly entity or elemental or something, I have no clue if it'll work. It might. Who knows?
Well, do we have the means to complete this, or are we just pissing in the wind here?
We may. Depends on if the fire counts or not. We'll find out, I guess. If not, when we get out of here, we can always have the GPCU drop us off a silvered axe or something. Or I can teleport home and get one.
Then why don't you just do that?
Because it's a ritual spell. It takes me an hour to complete. To teleport there. And back. Also, I should note, the last time I faced off against a Wendigo, keep in mind this was a standard run-of-the-mill Wendigo, he almost killed me. Several times, as a matter of fact. And I only won by dueling him in a 1v1, chivalry-like, right? If he had any less honor than he did, he'd have killed me instantly, probably. So, we find this thing. Hope. Pray to whatever gods you believe in, because we're gonna need it.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Yes.
I mean, it just regenerates from his body once it's dead and not killed properly, right?
Yes, it will come back from the dead if you even if you do every step but one, it will still come back. At full strength,
So,
nevertheless.
all we need to do is make sure it just doesn't come back while we are getting the supplies to, prevent
Yes.
it from coming
From my
back again.
experience, they usually resurrect within 24 hours. But the time that it takes them to resurrect can vary pretty wildly. Within that
Okay.
24-hour period, so. Yes. Or, well, maybe we have Soulcock now, maybe, right? So maybe we could have him, I don't know, kick the spirit out of the monster or banish it to the where it came from or something. I don't know.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I don't know
Well-
either, to be honest. Never done it.
So we are just all kind of pissing in the wind here until we find out what we're actually dealing with.
Yes. I've only ever. I
Mm.
mean,
I
I did
wonder,
face
I
like multiple Wendigo, but they were all basic Wendigo. They weren't special. They didn't. Well, one of them worshipped this guy, but they
Okay,
were kind of.
so what are the odds that we're dealing with a regular Wendigo?
Well, I mean, I've only ever heard of non-regular Wendigo. I've actually seen one.
Exactly. So we're literally just fighting a regular Wendigo.
It's definitely gonna be a random one to go. I thought you said that.
Sure.
Anyway, we're just kind of wasting time here.
I have a question for Boston Brook.
Sure, my good man. Far away.
You're an abjuration mage, primarily, correct?
Well, I suppose yes.
Well, in that case, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you know the spell Magic Circle?
Magic circle. Sounds familiar. Sounds like a ritual more than anything. If I had to.
Indeed it is.
Or is it one of those binding rituals?
Yes. It's a
Hmm.
containment spell.
That's more of JVH's shtick. I believe.
Uh,
Ah,
yes.
I see.
Though he only specifies in binding demons, which I don't know if that would work on a Wendigo.
I don't think a demon binding would work, but I could do a similar ritual to the one we did when fighting that horror.
Well, okay, so it's our plan to hold this incredibly powerful, immortal, self-resurrecting, undead being of unending, unquenchable greed and wrath. Hold this monster off until JVH can complete a binding circle, then trick this ancient and probably bonkers monster into the circle, bind it there. I go and get my silvered axe. We come back, finish the monster off, and then we do the ritual to kill it permanently, and then we kill it permanently and we leave.
Oh, nay, you see, nay. I had a bit of a different idea. Skip the part about tricking it. I don't think that'll be necessary. Simply schwack it, put it in the circle, let it do its resurrection business while we fuck off and claim the components needed to do a permanent killing.
And then we have to fight the monster twice.
Well, I could just, you know,
And in one of those occasions,
seal
we
it.
will have all the advantage.
Or, well, not seal it, but trap it, essentially.
That's the goal, I suppose. Sure. Yeah, alright. Well, yeah, sure. A better plan as any, I suppose. I should hopefully be able to get to my home and back before it resurrects. I feel like the odds are in my favor on that one.
Hope so.
But the making
Very
the
well.
circle is still a good idea, in case I don't.
Alright, so then all we have to do is prepare.
And then find the thing. Whatever it is in this
Well,
giant
yes.
cave. Interesting. Alright, onwards to victory, and he just begins walking down the cave. Just do.
Alright, yeah, I'll go.
Alrighty, so he goes past 7. He goes past 8. As he enters into that kind of like central network chamber, that's by 8, 9, and 11. And then I should note that, like, at this point, this place is pitch black. Like, it is totally devoid of lighting. Why? Wendigo having night vision. Who'd have thunk it? So yeah, it's totally devoid of light here. So you're just walking through this dark, damp, gross, creepy cave where you know a Wendigo is hiding. And you guys come to this kind of like central chamber.
Well, I'd have my lighter out.
Oh yeah, you guys have light sources, but they're not, great light sources. And you enter into that kind of central connecting chamber by 8, 9, and 11. And you had these 2 doors in front of you, and you had the staircase that goes into another kind of central chamber. And Bastard turns to you all, and he's like, "Alright, well, where do we want to go next? Which path do we take here?
Well,
any.
the question should be, where do we want to lead the Wendigo to?
Well, I highly doubt it'll go outside. To do how deep it's
Well,
underground.
not outside, but in here, where would we want to lead it? Because if we're going to prepare, we would need to set up an external room and have it chase us.
Well, or we would have to wait until you finish the ritual and then.
Exactly, but what are the odds it's going to stay in one place so that I can focus? At least this way, if we have one room set up so that we can draw it to that room, I can start performing the ritual and, in a sense, set a trap.
Well, do you want to do it back in, room 4 or 3 or 2 or something? Lead it all the way, give us as much room to run as we possibly can. Fighting retreat, as it were.
That would probably work. Room number 4 would probably do suffice.
Alright. Then I guess you want to go over there and... I'll say that you and Mason, because Mason doesn't want to leave anybody alone, because the place is also still
Fair
super
enough.
haunted. So you and Mason can go off and begin working on
Alright.
that.
Before we start doing that, kind of like a little team pep talk. This is kind of gonna be like a talk to get our shit together. So, I'll turn to you guys and be like, alright, what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna hold it off long enough and try and lead it back to where I am. If anybody gets hurt, split up down 2 paths into a team, and whoever it follows, just keep running. Essentially, all you need to do is reach room 4, and I can, hold it up in time for Boston Brook to get the things we need. Sound like a plan?
Sure.
Wait. We're going with the entrapping idea first?
Well,
We're going to
yes, because
lead it
I'm
into
going
the
to trap it. I'm going to trap it, and that
Well,
gives us more time to fight it.
Well, yeah. Well, the point is, we kill it, trap it, and then Boston Brook goes off and gets the stuff, and then it comes back, and then you do
Yes.
the ritual to kill it permanently, and then it should be fine.
So essentially, all I'm going to be doing is holding it.
Yes, yeah. You're just gonna be putting the corpse in the magic circle, in the hopes that Boston Brook can get back before it resurrects.
Yes. Not a bad idea if I do say so myself.
All right.
Alright, well, I'm ready.
All right. So yeah, so you and Mason go off and start walking back down towards room 4. The rest of you, including Father Brown, are in this dark, damp, gross, creepy, cold cave in a kind of like central little chamber area. So while JVH and Anvil are walking back to room 4, where do the rest of you want to go? Oh.
Let's see.
Hold on. Looks like I have someone at the door.
Cringe.
Imagine having someone at the door? Unrelatable.
Literally.
Never mind. Someone else? Who's getting the door?
Be aware too, gentlemen. 8, 9, or 11. Or you could
Let's
backtrack
see.
to 7, I guess.
I'll take 9.
All right. So you are all in this cave. The next is like, I want to go into room 7 or room 9. So you walk up to the door of room 9, and this door is significantly bigger than the rest. This door is 10 feet by 10 feet instead of 5 feet by 5 feet. It is huge. It is made of very dark, solid slabs of stone engraved with depictions of that same kind of really big Wendigo guy. And he's surrounded by like weird animal humanoids as well. Very strange. And you go to like push on the door, and it's a big old solid rock door, built for a creature far stronger than you. So you're just kind of like, and Boston looks like, "Ooh, don't worry, I've got this," and he walks over and he starts to help you push, and those two start, budging the door open. Fairies, you guys are across the room with Father Brown. Father Brown, has the Bone Fairy revealed her true form to the father yet, or you still look like a normal
Not
human
once.
woman? Okay, so he's not like uncomfortable or anything. He's just kind of like, okay, I don't know what the woman does, but she has a fairy on her shoulder, so I guess that's pretty cool. He seems like uncomfortable, but you can't tell that's because there's a fairy or because of all the heretics in this group, or because of the demon warlock that's also in this group, or the chicken. Any of those things could be making him uncomfortable. You have no idea which one it is.
I obviously a smooth talker. I prep him.
You
like,
just turned to him first time.
First time.
First time working with heretics. Says Yuna.
says the actual fairy.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy.
But yeah, so you and him are just kind of standing there, watching X and Boston Brook push this huge door open, and you look over to Father Brown, looks over to you, and he's like, so what's up?
You aware of the fan on your shoulder?
Like,
Man.
where? Huh? Faye?
Fairy? What? I had no idea. Kill it.
Crazy. I thought it was just a really tiny person.
Who could fly and turn invisible?
I don't know. I think would conversate because Nyx is too busy trying to sniff out a fucking Wendigo.
Yeah, so like I said, so Yuna's like, oh, doing pretty good, and when the human doesn't respond, what the fairy does, now he kind of gets uncomfortable because in his mind he's like, oh, did this fairy take this woman's soul? Something like that. Like, did she give up her name or something like that? Now she's like a slave to the Fae or whatever. So now he's kind of like,
Like twice.
No bueno.
If you're in danger.
yeah.
I think-
we're in danger.
Like, obviously, Nyx isn't the most friendliest of fairies. She takes bones for a living, so she's kind of just like,
Haha, I got your femur.
haha. You can't praise the Lord without your hands. haha."
Wow, the truth hurts.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, and I think Nyx will do like a broken speech. Be like, I don't feel like doing a speech. I was gonna try to make her do something, but I think Nyx would be like, Nyx does not understand why you are so uncomfortable around such beautiful women.
And Father Brown's like, I mean, the speech at first is when he's like, and then he's kind of like, well, I mean, as a priest, we are expected to be chaste and all that. So, I mean, forgive me for being uncomfortable as I'm standing in a pitch dark, damp cave, however deep we are under the ground, in a mountain that we know is haunted, probably with a Wendigo in it. Just gonna say, not conducive to a stress-free working environment.
Understands, when hunting prey, it is uncomfortable when you have the disadvantage. Yes.
Okay, so you say that, and you hear, like, behind you, like, over your head, like, in the wall, you hear a really deep, guttural voice respond, like, whispered to you in a language you don't understand, but Father Brown does, because he speaks Native American, and he speaks Nez Perce. So he's like, oh, and he turns around, and you just hear this, like, horrible squelching sound. And you look over at the father because you have night vision, so you can see coming through the stone wall is this arm. It's like 4 foot long arm made of like crooked, twisted wood, and these massive hands that are as big as your like torso. These huge, like 12-inch long, serrated, sharp wooden claws has like impaled the father. Like through his chest, and the father is lifted off the ground by this arm, and he turns to you as he's like vomiting blood and like seizing, and he's like, and he hands his Bible, like, he takes his Bible over, and he kind of holds it up at the arm, and he begins to mutter something in Nez Perce, and this horrible guttural voice says something back to him, and then he turns to you and he just goes, please, the reliquary in the church, the lockbox. And then you see this, like, these horrible, like, black and purple, viney, like, rosebush thorns, like, shoot from the wooden arm's, like, forearm and, like, hand, and stab themselves into the priest's, like, torso. And they, like, worm under his skin, under his clothes. You see his veins start to turn black and his skin goes very pale. And And as the arm drops him onto the ground and disappears back into the stonework, the father's body is writhing there, just like as his like the crown of his skull splits open, and a crown of thorns appear around the top of his head. As the Father Brown is very dead, he's also now very undead.
Great.
Look at that.
I
Now we
think
can roll
what
initiative.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is he was outstretching his Bible, right?
Yeah.
I'll take the Bible from him, because he has no use for
Wouldn't
these.
he hurt himself if he's holding the Bible?
I
Not
unless like it's a
really?
super blessed and whatever he turned into is like really
Like super,
freaking
super,
toxic
super, yeah.
to that, you know. But I think otherwise it's just an undead holding a book and be like, yeah, it has holy words.
Yeah, like the book is consecrated, but it would only have an effect if you were to like smack him with it, basically.
Yeah.
Why
So,
did I write
as I was
Bible
gonna
instead
say.
of Wendigo on the initiative counter? That is not right.
Oh no, the Bible. Shit.
Well, he isn't technically he isn't actually a Wendigo. He's an Abyssal Archdruid. All right, get it right. Which is a Wendigo, but also he's an Archdruid. So he got what's his agility? 8 plus 7 is 15. All right. What does X and Battlecock and the fairies get?
What do?
Well, first roll.
Let's see, where everyone's.
Everyone's behind you.
Yeah. So you and Boston Brook are pushed up against this big door, trying to push it open, and then across the room, Father Brown just got ganked. Actually, I think right. He kind of got ganked, but now also is like undead now. So I need to change his color to be red because he is undead. And then Battlecock is also, I guess, like next to X. And then the fairies are across the room being harassed by this Archdruid that's kind of like half in the wall, half not in the wall. Because, you know, Archdruid, mold earth, stuff like that, can teleport through the ground. Also, you're all in his lair right now. So,
Oh, he has.
What room are they in?
they're not in a numbered room, but they are in that, like, central chamber, that like connects to 8, 7, 9, and 11, like the kind of initial Nexus room. Father Brian is dead, and yeah, so he does have lair actions. He has a lot of lair actions. He has more lair action than he has spells. it's honestly kind of dumb.
Does that mean that what's the word I'm looking for?
That you're all in danger.
He has layer stuff.
Yeah, he has lair stuff.
Ha!
He's the boss fight, bro. Of course he has lair stuff.
Damn. Okay, well, I
also
got
other-
an 8. I think my initiative.
You got an
my
8 to
ability is 8,
16.
so that's like 16, right? Yeah.
Also, Anvil and JVH can roll initiative too, because you're gonna have enemies to fight in a
Wait,
second.
what? I haven't even started the ritual yet.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
that
give you a
sucks
head
for
start, 'cause
you,
you have
bro.
been for like a minute, so.
That's a nat 10.
Net
So.
10. Alright. 15. Anvil got an 8, so that's pretty good. He got 8 plus. 8 plus 5. 12, 13. 13. So yeah, X and Battlecock.
See where this goes. Although, to be honest, I think as XC this goes down, he's just gonna do like a fist bump to himself. So like, yeah, priest down. I didn't even have to get my hands straight.
Thank you, Wendigo. You've done my work for me.
By the way, initiative rolls are 8 and 7.
8 for who?
X.
X. All right, so that's 12 for X, and then 7 plus 7 is 14. All right. I think cliffhanger. That's what I think.
Boy.
Hoo boy.
All right. Well, if you liked it, let us know. If you think this plan is going to go horribly awry, also let us know. And we will see you next time on Quest for the Core.